how could consciousness not be here since the whole universe is here already? And you're here already, and you're conscious already. And you're seeing everything already happening right now. You see, the human beings have a tendency to always focus on objects, to always focus on appearances, on forms and shapes and everything that is in front of them, either externally or which is tangible or graspable internally, like your thoughts, emotions, and feelings, or even energies. So human beings have a habit, we could say, to always put focus on that which is objective, tangible, visible, graspable, knowable. It's the same like looking at the computer screen right now, or your mobile phone screen right now, and you're looking at the images appearing right now on the screen, but you're ignoring the screen itself, which is black right now. So you see what is happening? That we always have a focus to see what appears. And okay, now in your screen there are colors and images and so forth. You see the shape of this being, but you're ignoring the screen itself. And it's right here. And it's the place where all these videos, movies, and your apps and everything and programs appear. Right on this black screen. So the same way the source of your being, consciousness, the self is right here. It is the substratum, it is the context where everything appears. It is the place which is now here where everything appears. And it is not about appearances, because appearances change. Just like tomorrow you will be watching something or doing some work on this computer or in your phone or anything else. There's going to be other applications and programs and videos playing. But the screen is always quite the same. The screen is always the same. So it's not about appearances, it's not about the movies, it's not about what comes and goes. Your being is here, you are here, this is the being. And we should even remove the word your being, because there is only being. There is only this here, and it's not only even what is happening here, it is here. If we remove the happening from here, what is left? The being. And whether you are in your waking conscious state or whether you are in your sleepy state, in your dreamy state, you're still aware. You still are. You're still aware, you still are. In your every night in your dreams appear. Every day there is a different experience. But essentially you are. Every day you are. And now if we inquire into this are, you are. If we remove the properties, the objectivity from what is this are, you are. If we remove the properties, the appearances of you are, well, simply now is. You are aware, you're here, this is the being. We're not focusing on what kind of being, happy being, sad being, what thoughts pop in and go. The fact is that there's this being. You're here. And you shouldn't look for anybody else as well. Because it is you. But it is so you, it is so you that it is closer than the feeling of you. When you have a feeling of you, it is a feeling. And I will ask you, what kind of feeling do you have? And then you will say, oh, I feel good, or I feel mature, or I feel so young, or I feel so old, or I feel depressed, or I feel like this. Well, let's remove the properties and you will say, I feel like this or like that. And that's a feeling, how you feel right now. And the thing is that there is you and there is how you feel yourself. So let's ask a question. So how many of you there are? If there is you and there is a feeling of you, so which one is more real? Which one is more fundamental? So that is you, not the feeling of you. And that is you, yes. It is exactly you. It's nobody else. It's not, someone in the sky, or it's not a concept like what is consciousness. Some of you have a good idea what is consciousness. Some of you like, oh, I have no clue what consciousness is. Or some of you will say, well, that's the light, or it feels like love. But it is much closer. It is much closer. You don't have to think to be, first of all, because you already are. When a concept comes into your mind, well, it's a concept, but you are. When you have a certain particular feeling about anything or about yourself, what is prior that feeling about something or yourself? It is you. So essentially you are that, we could say, canvas. You are that canvas where everything appears, feeling appears, thoughts, energies appear. You are the white canvas, the blank canvas. There's not even a color to say is it white or black. When we think about paintings, we will say always it's white canvas. When we say about computer screen, you will say it's black by default. But the thing is, it's maybe what is closest to be said, it's transparent. Or sometimes I say it's lightless light. Because then if you start to think, you start painting on it. If you start to visualize, you start painting on it. If you start to feel something, you start painting on it. Do you get the idea? You get the idea, you start painting on it. And let's check. What are you painting on it right now? How familiar are you with your real self? To some people who are very familiar with their minds, they made a very cozy home in their mind. This canvas may look a bit anxious even. Someone may have even some fear to realize that you are already here. And if you would feel any anxiousness, it only means that you're not familiar with your real self. That maybe what is more familiar to you is your mind. It's some more cozy, more comfortable ideas are more familiar. It's okay too. For now, it's okay too. So that's my invitation right now, is to see, what are you painting right now? This is the now is the canvas. Now is canvas. Here now is canvas. When you become more familiar with this canvas, you realize it's nothing else than you. And it's the biggest gift, the biggest freedom, the most radiant, lightless light, the freedom, the bliss. It's all of it. For those who are not familiar with your real self, you may have some anxiousness. And it is healthy. It is healthy. If you don't become very afraid, it is healthy. If you suddenly realize that this is too much and you can't handle it, well, you can slow down a bit and maybe come back to your comfort zone, which is okay. But when you look a bit closer, it's peaceful. It is peaceful. It is the pure being. It is so pure that it is not even touched by purity or impurity. Because even purity and impurity are paints, what is painted on it. If you have a computer screen, you could visualize the yin and yang, you know, the purity and the impurity, the black and the white, but it's on the screen. And the screen is not touched by what's painted on it. So you'll say, hold on, hold on. So where do you hold on to? Where do I hold on to? What should I hold on to? Well, take a few moments to check, what are you holding on to? So there is a tendency to paint the feelings on this canvas of now, to paint your thoughts, your feelings about everything, including about yourself. But this invitation is more closer, more intimate. It is to become more intimate with yourself. more honest with yourself, being closer, seeing what is painted on the now. And that is a very big acceptance. Very, very big acceptance. We can say it's a radical allowing. Because even if there is a resistance or anxiousness, it is also allowed. It may be happening, or there is a very profound peace. It is allowed. This canvas of now is the absolute allowingness. Just like the screen does not resist anything which is portrayed on the screen. Just like the white canvas does not resist any paint, anything which is painted on it. The canvas doesn't choose the colors. The painter is painting the colors. So this is a very intimate invitation to be yourself here, open, allowing, accepting what arises here. If there is something beautiful here, it's very welcomed. If there is something difficult here, it is also very welcomed. It is an invitation to become deeper, to welcome this depth of being. To welcome this experience which is here. But remember that you are here, and here is experience, which is more fundamental, which is more permanent, the experience or you, obviously yourself, because experience changes from time to time. And you can slow down, you can relax, you can soften, so that you can radically accept what is here already. And there might be a big pull of the mind, like a big weather, the storm, a big wind, or even the whole tornado. But the sky is not resisting the wind, the storm, the tornado. That is the mind, yes. The mind is the wind, the weather. The mind will say, I thought I'm this peaceful wind, but sometimes I'm this very big stormy tornado wind. Yes, that is the mind, it's the weather. But you are the sky. And then you will say, aha, I can allow the weather. Maybe you can recognize that gentle shift from identifying as the weather into recognizing the permanence of the sky. So my invitation is to slow down, and become more close, more intimate with yourself as a being here. And remind yourself to notice what is being painted, what arises, what feelings come up. If you go back into the thoughts, if you go back into the feeling, it's okay. It's okay. It happens. There is a certain familiarity with the thoughts, with particular feelings. If you see yourself that you can't stay or maintain yourself in the now, allow yourself to go into the feeling, into the thought. you can do that too. You can allow yourself to go into the feeling, into the thought. And it might be there that you will realize, oh, these are thoughts. In your feelings, you might meet exactly the feeling, the peace, tranquility, or a feeling of resistance or anxiousness. Get to know more that feeling. Just be with it. The problems arise when you resist what you feel, when you don't want to feel what you feel, or when you start controlling what you feel, resisting, blocking what you feel. That's where the problems come. Or when you start to manipulate your thoughts. Why don't you allow your thoughts? When you truly allow your thoughts, just for a few moments, you will notice that they will disappear because you have truly, truly allowed them. You have met them, and then they poof, disappear. But when you ride the train with your thoughts, then you're following a thought process. You're not meeting your thoughts, you're following your thoughts. I'm saying fully allow your thoughts, fully let them be. That is the meeting, the allowing. And your thoughts appear only because, in most cases, there is a certain feeling or emotion. Because even a worry is a feeling and emotion. A doubt is a feeling, it's emotion. A doubt is a mental feeling. It is a certain energy, a certain feeling of unclarity. Something is veiling. So thoughts are always because of feelings, of certain emotions. 99% of all thoughts are just that, because of feelings or emotions. Some thoughts can come as ideas, or they can be communicative thoughts, but that is just 1% in reality. Intuitive, it's still feeling, which gets translated into a thought. But let's examine that 99%, because that's what occupies your daily mind. And these thoughts only appear because there is a certain feeling, a certain emotion. There is not so much power to manipulate your thoughts. You only have to learn how to truly be with the feeling, with emotion. How to truly allow the feeling and emotion. To be with it, to hold it. To be the space for the feeling, for emotion. Then thoughts settle in because the feeling emotion is allowed and taken care of in the right way, because you are the space for the feeling, for emotions. Some of you who are more energetically sensitive, you may have a bigger range of sensitive perceptions, but fundamentally it's the same because you are the space for these energies, perceptions. You are the space for your chakras, for your kundalini, for any kind of energies flowing, happening right now. And that's the screen, that's the canvas. It is the now, it is the being, you, here, absolutely inclusive, absolutely inclusive. If you say, well, I certainly feel that I'm not the screen, I'm something else. Well, something else is here in the background on the screen, and you are identifying with that something else, and it's okay. You say, I don't feel like this being the background, the screen, the space of now. I feel like something more solid, something more tangible, and that's okay. Allow it to be here. Don't resist this tangible feeling. That's something tangible. Don't resist it. Just really be this something very tangible, something very solid, and really be it. Like dive into it and really be it. And then you will see that it's gonna start to open, expand. So this is an intimate meeting with yourself. Honestly meeting what is here. It's truth. Truthfully meeting what is here. It is not fooling yourself. It is not lying to yourself. It is not telling stories to yourself. Not illusioning yourself. Not fooling yourself. Many times the mind likes to do that. Well, I'm gonna tell a story to myself. Let me listen to the story to myself. I like stories. They make me feel comfortable. I just like to hear the stories. It makes me feel maybe safer. So you might be telling many stories to yourself for a certain reason, to feel safer, to know yourself. But there is a bit of a paradox in it. You tell stories to yourself to know yourself. We may call it a self-hypnosis. So it's a real intimacy to be yourself, to really check what's happening now, to allow it, of course. And this honesty requires no fighting, no self-judgment. If you go into fighting with yourself or judging yourself, you're going in the wrong way. Because I'm speaking about allowing, about intimacy, about truth, not about fighting, not about judging. I'm speaking about a very intimate love. It is absolutely unconditionally meeting yourself. That is love. This love is so present that it is allowing. Like the mother is allowing a child, the baby. The mother is allowing the baby to cry, to have needs. You have needs. This love is allowing your needs to be here. So loving yourself absolutely is also allowing your needs to be here. Allowing these challenges to be here. And this love is so close, so intimate, so unconditional. It is absolutely allowing and holding this whole space, whatever is happening here now. Like the mother is allowing the baby to cry, to laugh, to be, to feel hungry, to give some food. The mother's love is here to take care, to hold the space, to give this unconditional love. And in this case, it is your feelings, your emotions that are like babies. Some of them have matured and grown up. Some of them are still like babies kicking left and right. These emotions or feelings are your babies. And you're this unconditional being. having these babies of emotions and feelings. It might be not easy, I know, but this is how you grow up. This is how you mature. This is how you realize that you are the unconditional now. This unconditional being, holding it all, allowing it all, holding it all. And what are you painting right now? You can always reflect. What are you feeling right now? Where are you right now? In the feeling, in the thought process, in a certain emotion or a certain energy. This is how clear the now is. Absolutely unconditional, clear. And this radiance of this clarity is permeating every experience. So this is the intimate now. give it a few more minutes, and then we will open some time for questions, for sharing, for inquiring into your experience, gaining more clarity into your experience.
I don't think I've ever experienced this kind of love before. Something that comes to mind for me when you invite us to hold the emotions that arise, like our children. Something that comes to mind is I'm caring for my parents as they get older. My mom in particular. Is becoming very anxious. And when I'm present with my and loving, I can host and hold all of those anxieties.
Yes, exactly, yes.
So when I think about hosting and holding all of the thoughts and emotions that arise, I think of how I'm able to be with my mother. That's not a perfect parallel because I also have these boundaries where a lot of my own ego structures have been patterned on hers, and so I see them and I don't follow them. But maybe that is an interesting parallel. I wanted to offer that as a question.
Yes, there is a little bit of distance, we may say, a little bit of, as you said, some structures. And it's okay, and you see that. And the key is that you have seen, and you can see, and you realized that you can host your emotions, feelings, your thoughts. And in this case, you are the mother. So in the mind, you had this remembrance of connection with your mother, if I understood you correctly, and that gave you a reflection that there is a certain structure, there is a certain perhaps anxiousness, and that is a very beautiful self-reflection. So your inquiry, what you have just shared, is very, very clear, very unconditional. And this is a moment of seeing. It is truth. And thus now you're realizing that you can host, you can allow emotions, feelings, your thoughts, and you can give some time to these anxieties and a little bit of distance. And with time, it will soften, it will expand, it will dissolve these edges and walls and anxiousness. But the key is this recognition of allowing, recognition of hosting your emotions, feelings, and thoughts. Because now you are the mother, or to anybody who is male, you are the father. And these are your feelings, emotions, thoughts, energies. You are the space where they are here. And if you look closer, you are not separate from these feelings. They are intimately here, isn't it? Were you ever so intimate with your thoughts to recognize that these thoughts are here? I am with my thoughts. Wow, that's amazing. I'm not in my thoughts, I am with my thoughts. If you forget that you're with your thoughts, then you contract in the thoughts. And that doesn't feel comfortable. Then you say, my mind is going crazy. It's driving me crazy because I can't get out of it. Because you're in your thoughts. But when you're with your thoughts, I'm very intimate with my thoughts. How amazing is that? And your mind just suddenly freezes. Whoa, what's happening? Now we're in the right relationship. The mind is usually not used to it, but it starts to recognize the value of that intimacy, of unconditional allowing. And then the mind realizes that that's the way to take care of things. It's the way to take care of these thoughts, emotions, and feelings. So the mind becomes cooperative when it recognizes the value. And then this intimacy, intimate connection becomes closer and closer and closer. And the mind surrenders, surrenders, surrenders until it is totally safe to be the space of now. It's absolute surrender. I don't need to control anything anymore because I trust the space of now. This is who I am. And this trust is necessary because if there is lack of trust, then there will be a certain protection, a certain cautiousness, a certain distance, a certain separation, a certain wall, a certain structure. If you don't fully trust the space of now. So then you have a certain identity and you might be even protecting it, being defensive in some cases, because someone is threatening your identity, you know. That's a common argument, a reason for argument. So this is the meeting very clearly, honestly, intimately with now, with what is here.
I have a question regarding recognizing that you're not your feelings. Is it similar to recognizing that you're not your thoughts, but just yeah, my thought was that this process of recognizing your feelings and emotions, letting go of them, is similar to me as the process of recognizing that you're not your thoughts, letting
Yes,
them
yes,
go
yes, yes.
level.
So you're not only your thoughts, you're not only your feelings. You don't have to fully separate yourself, because then you will start to resist your thoughts and your feelings. You don't have to fully separate yourself. But you're not only these thoughts, you're not only these feelings. you allow them to be here. You are the space for everything to be here. You're not even separate from them, but you're not them. You're not only them, but you're not separate from them. The separation is only needed when you're totally identified, and then you need to see that, but that's not your case.
Yeah. Right. And I'm able to realize that I'm not only my feelings, and then I am in this position of now what? Is that to connect with the feeling of my choice, or just
That's a good one. That's a good one. So now what? So now what? Isn't it an expectation?
Yeah. Right.
So now what? Yes. So now expectation. Yeah. Now meet the expectation. Oh, expectation is here. Become friends with expectation.
All right.
You see how close the now is, how intimately now is. You say, so now what? Well, now expectation. This is how
It's
close it
very
is.
fragile. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes, yes, yes. So you always meet what is here. And then you say, oh, now what? Well, expectation. Or you say, something is missing. Yeah, that's also expectation. Or desire. There can be a desire. There can be not wanting, which is also desire.
Is expectation a fear of nothingness?
No, that would be the fear of nothingness. Expectation is a certain desire, yes. But yet again, don't label it immediately as desire, because now what's actually here is expectation. And it's a form of desire. This is how desire took a form and presented itself to you right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Michelle, yes?
Yes, I maybe it's more technical. When you mentioned that you might notice an energy coming up and then certain thoughts start to form around it. And I've noticed that I seem to have my favorites, my go-to, like this feeling comes up a lot. And it likes this particular train of thoughts to go along with it. And sometimes, like some of these are years long, trains of thought. Like, how does that actually work? What is the reality of that? And if one were to like dissipate certain energy, would the thought forms that are attached to it find themselves?
Yes. You already are answering it yourself, yes. There is a certain energy arising or a certain feeling. And then there are certain energy, there are thought forms sprinkling, bubbling. And some of these thought forms become formed and they become circular. Then they start spinning, circling. If you pay attention to them, you have maybe been paying attention to them for a long time, they became so much encircled that they gained a certain momentum, which is a train of thoughts. The train of thoughts have many wheels. So you recognize, oh, that's a big train of thought, and it has a certain circling thought patterns. And then you slow down the train, you slow down the circling patterns, and then you see, oh, these are thoughts popping up because there is a certain feeling or energy. And now the actuality, your question, yes, your actuality is meeting that feeling, meeting that energy. And that's the actuality. It is to meet that feeling, to meet that energy, to allow it to be here, to be with it, to be present with it, to hold it, to take care of it, heal it. And the absolute actuality is that you're the space, we could say, where this energy is here, the feeling is here. And then it's only produced thought forms, thoughts and circles and trains. Yes, that's a good question, yes. Yeah, so it requires a certain maturity or a bit of practice, you know, to disengage from the train of thoughts, from the circle and stories of thoughts, popping thoughts into actuality of feelings, emotions, energies. Because they're always more fundamental. They give birth to the thoughts. And only if you make it loose, then it comes into circles and trains of thoughts. Yes, yes, yes. Thoughts are called tiny energy potentials. They're tiny energy potentials. They're scattered. They're very popping. And if you grab onto them, usually it happens very unconsciously. When you grab onto those thoughts or you suddenly put your focus on it, this tiny potential starts to activate and starts to manifest. It starts to attract similar thoughts, starts to form a story, a cycle, a circle. And then it starts to form a structure, which we generally call a belief. So that is the nature of thoughts. How amazing it is, isn't it, to see, to understand yourself, to see what's happening, how it's happening. This is the most amazing journey, the most amazing gift. It will unravel everything, all those mysteries, all confusions, doubts, and worries.
Sometimes I can act in ways that I might see an anxiety arising or a desire.
Mm-hmm.
And I might act in a way that addresses it without identifying with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if that's true. I'm wondering if I'm feeding it necessarily. I'm wondering if I can see, for example, a particular situation is causing anxiety.
Okay, this is a bit of a surface question, I would say.
Is it?
Yes, because Yeah, it's not about situations. And never look at situations. That's not where the answer is. And like, oh, okay, next time I will try to avoid this situation. No, that's not the way. The way is to see what that situation invokes, triggers inside you. So you mentioned anxiety. It's not a particular situation. It is to see that anxiety arises. And it's not to try to avoid certain situations. It's to try to meet anxiety here now. And that meeting will resolve the anxiety. It's not so important what causes anxiety, what triggers anxiety. It is important to meet anxiety, to be with anxiety, to hold it, to take care of it. And that will resolve the anxiety. So you see how beautiful it is to see that situations are only here to help you to arise and to meet yourself. And the present moment never makes a mistake to give you what you need so that you meet yourself. So this is the intelligence of the now, to give you what you need to meet yourself in the now. Situations are only how life invites you to continuously, it is continuously inviting you to meet yourself. Okay, today I'll give you this experience. Will you use it as a chance to meet yourself? Tomorrow I'll give you that experience. Will you use it as a chance to meet yourself? If you will ignore meeting yourself, well, your life situation will become more and more difficult. Because life constantly is looking for ways for you to meet yourself. And this is called suffering, when you continuously ignore all the invitations of life, all the scenes of life, all the experiences of life, when you ignore them for the fact that they were all given to you for you to awaken and to meet yourself. This is, we could say, the ultimate purpose of experiences that are given to you. They're given to you so that you can meet yourself. And this is why the souls travel throughout lifetimes. Karma is called ignorance. If you have been ignoring life, inviting you, meeting yourself for certain lifetimes, well, there's a certain buildup of ignorance there, a certain backlog of paperwork. Then you have to go through that stack, through that backlog. If you have ignored yourself for 20 lifetimes, well, maybe this lifetime is going to be quite busy to clear that backlog. But once you start clearing that backlog, life starts to resonate on higher and higher vibration, more and more synchronized. Then you see the wisdom of life, the reason of life, the purpose of life, to meet yourself fully, absolutely. Because you are the space for life. Life is the weather, you are the sky.